Hello and welcome to the A Link to the Past No Major Glitches Tournament 2021 here on Zelda Speedruns. This is a winner's bracket round 1 match between the number 55 seed Rywek and the number 37 seed Glan. Our commentators tonight are Anders and Foxlisk. Take it away.
Howdy everybody, I'm Anders. You can just call me Durs if you want. And this is my friend Foxlisk. How you doing today, Fox?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Alright,
Handle daylight savings okay?
Yeah,
ZeldaSpeedRuns.
so because of my profession, I had to be up at the equivalent of what is now 8 a.m. on Sunday, so yeah, so I'm kind of used to it. Luckily with my day job, I work from home and I have a work laptop, which means if I really wanted to, I could just work from bed.
I've definitely done that myself sometime.
I can neither confirm or deny it.
I mean, me neither.
Just as I can also not confirm nor deny what time I stream versus what time I work. But I'm particularly excited for this one right here. I don't know about you. I think that this is this is the first brackets match I've actually gotten to sit down and really watch at all, obviously. Looks like we are getting our final names here. I'm gonna call it now. Rywek is gonna be I Love Frogs. Or Frog. I don't remember
just
which
I Love
way.
Frog, yeah.
Yeah. And Glan will be we.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's supposed to be pronounced. Hoi.
Hoi hoi. But I know Glan particularly well and his history, but I haven't seen too much of Rywek. So I'm pretty excited to see this and the differentiation between the two. I know that Glan comes from a heavily glitchy and heavily randomizer background. So this will be interesting to see him deal with some of the more straightforward patterns that we see in dungeons.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Glan is one of those people who doesn't play a ton of NMG, and so some of us are sort of excited to see him actually focus on it for a while and see how far he takes it during this tournament. I also don't know as much about Rywek. I believe he's a French runner. Their PBs are a few minutes apart, so Glan definitely has the edge, but you know, anything could happen in one of these races.
And we've seen just about everything happen already. Looks like we are getting started now. I will say my favorite thing about Rywek so far is that they have great headphones with little cat ears on them.
Yes, it's very cute. So the runner's getting off to the start of the run, the escape sequence. If you've ever watched this run before, obviously you've seen this a bunch of times. This is sort of a very... It's not easy, but it's kind of straightforward, right? It's all fundamentals. You don't have any movement tech yet. You don't really have any items. We pick up the boomerang and the lamp, but it's not really techy. It's all just about moving very cleanly, not bumping into stuff, entering doors cleanly, stuff like that is the main focus through this whole split.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that this game does really well is introduce you to gameplay mechanics and then show you exactly what you can do with them. So we were introduced to some specific RNG in this run. We're introduced to some specific movement techniques. So we'll see a lot of that throughout this short segment.
Yeah, for sure. Reading and handling the RNG in this segment is definitely... There's a bunch of rooms where that matters, specifically later on. A specific room with a rat that can choose to be really annoying.
You know, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what my brother used to say about me.
that you're an annoying rat. That's not very nice. So you see here, the first thing that we're doing is spinning this guard twice against that statue to get him to drop the key as fast as we can. Making our way down towards the cell with Zelda in it. Gotta rescue her and then bring her back to the sanctuary, and that's really all we set out to do, right? Is rescue the princess. That's all we've got today.
Like I always say, the point of this game is to save the princess, and trust me, we can do it in 6 minutes or less.
Killing some more guards. Now we get the boomerang. If you played the game before, you probably were a little surprised. If you haven't seen the run, but you've only played it casually, that we didn't get the lamp out of Link's house. But the lamp actually shows up in 3 different chests, or it shows up in whichever one of those 3 chests you open first. So we get the boomerang before the lamp, partly because it auto-equips the boomerang for us, which is handy, and partly just because the walk to this chest in Zelda's cell is shorter. Glan opted to do an 8-slash there. I think Rywek did as well.
I believe you're correct. I looked away for like 3 seconds, of course.
Yeah. That is the hardest strat. It saves a little bit of time overthrowing a pot at the guard, but it's very easy to mess up and then end up losing time.
Yep. So now we have saved the princess, who has been calling out to us, and assumedly our uncle, telepathically. Sometimes I wonder a little bit about the lore of this game. That's alright.
You know, I think there's an English translation if you want to learn more about the lore.
There is an English translation. It still does not explain a lot of things.
That's true. People do speak directly into your brain without really explaining why that's possible.
Yes, like many other Zelda games, this game is full of lore, that is easily translatable into trivia questions. So maybe if you're lucky and you finish all your vegetables, we'll get a nice little trivia question around Thieves Town, if you know what I mean.
Can't wait. It's the best part of the run.
Yeah, I will say that today we might be looking more at gameplay mechanics than we are specific lore. Let you think on that one.
For anyone playing along in chat, I don't know the trivia question, so I'll be guessing along with you when the time comes.
I felt pretty bad. I screened. So Blue Sencho and I are pretty good friends, and so when I found out that he and I were commentating together, I decided to, ask which of the 3 trivia questions that I had on hand he thought I should use, and I forgot to tell him the answer of the one he picked. And he had to wait 3 days to find out.
Well, that's more fun, really, getting to play the trivia game, although 3 days maybe is a lot. I did want to point out that Rywek here opted to pick up a safety heart. There's a heart that's really close to being in your way, which he opted to do for safety, probably just because it's a race thing.
And coming out of, what's that brain place called? Ball and Chain Guard with just 1 heart can always be a little scary.
Yeah.
And opting to hop back for that rupee.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. I wonder. I'm pretty sure that's not like optimal, although it's not a big deal. But I wonder if he's maybe going for tree rupees and not 100% confident on the rupee route yet, or something like that.
Judging by the face that we saw on our end, I think it may have been a last-minute decision. But both of our runners making it out of the catacombs of Hyrule Castle and into the sanctuary, where we will meet a priest and never speak to him again.
Yeah, so you can see Glan picked up a couple seconds in the escape. Not a huge deal, obviously, still very close. Making our way over to Eastern now, which is first dungeon. We gotta collect the 3 pendants in the light world, because we have to go to the the market and sell 3 pendants for a Master Sword. Making our way over here. This is the last part of the game that we do before we get the boots, so it's got a lot in common with the escape, that it's all about clean, careful movement before we get to start running everywhere.
Once you get boots, it's a true speed run.
It's true. Putting the run and speed run. And the speed, I guess.
So the dungeon that we are heading to is Eastern Palace, the first first pendant dungeon. Pardon me. Aptly named as it is in the eastern portion of Hyrule Castle. Both runners trying to take just a little bit of damage here. There is a trick that we should be seeing later in this dungeon that has a minimum of, I believe, 1.5 hearts, depending on how they do it, in damage. Both of them taking a little bit of a bump on one of the Armo statues, and Rywek having a little run-in with a blue guard, but nothing too bad. There are a few safety hearts that they can get to ensure that they're healthy and happy.
Yeah, I would expect them to both get up to full hearts before the damage boost trick that you're talking about.
That's my guess too, but just like to point it out. Little time losses, little time
Glan
losses.
opting to skip the heart in the pot. I wonder if he's going to boom this heart. Maybe he's just being brave. Oh yeah,
he's just being brave.
Yeah.
It's just Glan. I mean, they call him Glanimal the animal.
Who's they?
Everyone. You don't?
Have
you ever heard him referred to as the Prince of Pause Buffers, which was his nickname during the ADRMG tournament?
I have heard you call him that, yeah.
See, now what I don't like is the fact that that you just implied that it is just me who calls him that, and even though you're right, I feel attacked.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, LCP, though, we do have timers for each of the individual runners.
Yeah, they should. I assume it's just the streams aren't exactly synced on the restream or something like that, but I don't think they started different times. If their times are like within a couple seconds of each other at the end of the race, like if it's close enough that that kind of thing might actually play into the winner, then someone will review it and look carefully at exactly what time each player got. But if it's like 10 seconds apart or a minute apart or whatever, then probably that won't even be necessary.
The biggest thing we have to worry about right now is getting through the run.
Yeah. Then picking up his bow here. The bow's an interesting item. It's necessary for some stuff, but it's also useful for damage output in a bunch of places. So the arrow routing is quite intricate in this run. Probably be pointing out some decisions about which arrows the players opt to get and skip later on in the run.
Please do, because I know where they get some, and then sometimes my brain doesn't remember things.
Wow, look at those 4 cannonballs in a row for Glan. From the same
Glan getting some interesting luck. The sky is blue. Ooh, missing that. That's frustrating. Taking out his anger on that Red Ivor for heading into this Armos Knights fight. Now, as I always say, this can be a scripted fight.
It should be pretty consistent if you don't mess it up, but it's pretty easy to mess up. I did want to point out on Rywek's side, he got the arrow drop from what we call the miscellaneous prize pack. Basically, there's an arrow drop that some enemies can have that basically he's not going to be able to get later on in the run, which means that he'll probably end up having to pick up extra arrows from pots or chests that Glan, if he gets a lucky drop, might be able to skip.
I also want to point out that Rywek opted for bottom right Armos, which, based on an arrow in the wall and an extra red cycle, loses a little bit of time, but still very nice. Still very nicely done.
Yep, so now we're talking to either a cowboy or an elf, depending on your perspective, to get some boots.
Wait, oh my god. I never noticed that. It is kind of like a cowboy hat.
Yeah, it does look like that, right?
I mean,
Pretty sure it's supposed to be.
It's totally not, right? That's just his very, very shiny head.
Yeah,
and
he's just bald and has
elf
big
ears.
elf ears. But it definitely looks like a cowboy hat.
Very nice.
You want to talk about spin speed? Oh, Rywek.
Yeah, I would love to. So another opportunity to see it. In the 1.0 version, we have a trick called Spin Speed, where you spin and you go speedy. Primarily, we use it. It's triggered while you are on a staircase, essentially, and allows you to go very, very fast. We'll see it used a few different times here. We'll see if either of them go towards the unholy spin speed. I don't think I saw it on Glan's side. I think he opted for the dash strats.
I was looking at Rywek's stream too.
I was also kind of cross-eyed a little bit. So let's see. Looks like Rywek's going to go for unholy spin speed, which if you do it perfectly... Oh, didn't quite get it.
That's okay. It's not that bad to go for and miss. Yeah,
Yes,
so the thing about spin speed is that you can only do it. You have to do a spin, which takes some time, and you have to have manual stairs to actually get the speed. But it allows you to turn at dash speed, which is the fastest way you can move. So it's really good on the screens where you can do it. They were about 14 seconds apart leaving Eastern.
So let's take a look at what their entrance time is then. So do we know what is in the Book of Madura?
It's like a dictionary, right?
I guess it's some sort of like codex.
Yeah,
Rather than
it's
just
like
for ancient alien.
Yeah, I think of it like, those travel like dictionaries when you're going to France and you need to go asked how to go to the bathroom or whatever. Just got common words and phrases that appear on, mysterious tablets around Hyrule for convenience.
It's roughly a 28-second difference.
Oh, Rywek going for an unusual strat in the desert lobby.
Oh, but I liked it. It was spicy.
It's spicy. The problem is that the spice usually comes in the form of getting hit by a BMOS laser, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
He avoided it there, though.
Nice cannonballs on Glan's side.
Yeah, the cannonballs are, well, they're not technically RNG, but they're unmanipulatable, let's say. And they can definitely just cost you a bunch of time and be difficult or just be very easy. Both players got really fast, easy cannonball luck, though.
Always nice to see. Now Glan heading outside of the first portion of Desert Palace as Rywek makes his way into the glove room.
Glan went for the Desert 2 spin speed, which is pretty scary. It saves about 40 frames if you do it really well, but if you go too far, you fall off the cliff and have to run back around and reopen Desert and lose a minute or something.
It's a pretty sad victory lap, if you ask me, that I have definitely done once.
Yeah, I just don't go for the strat. It's too scary for me. I'm a little baby. Glan about to enter the boss here. Slanmolus, 3 worms hop out of the ground. We're going to be shooting them with arrows, because arrows do twice as much damage as sword slashes, and we don't have any bombs. This is a really, really difficult fight. One of the most difficult things in the game to do fast. So hope that they get easy patterns and have nice, clean boss fights.
First two worms cooperated pretty well.
Yep. Probably able to clean this up with a 3-cycle.
Not with that short hop. It's gonna be
Shot a little
four
bit
at
early
least.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
4-cycle for Glan at the very last second.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rywek heading in at the moment. See how that goes.
Dow pointing out in chat that Glan, just before this race, got second place in the Landmo RTA category, which is a major glitches category of defeat Landmolus as fast as possible. Well, Rywek having a little more trouble here.
We are having a Landmo party. These are not nice patterns.
Oh boy, don't die, Rywek.
I am very nervous. Alright, one worm down. Meanwhile, Glan heading for, assumedly, yes, fake flippers. Oh, Rywek?
There we go.
Oh. Anyway, fake flippers, fun little glitch that we can do to trick the game into letting us swim. Glan missing it the first time, getting it the second time, and having a little do-si-do.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So if you get hit by that Zora, you lock the game.
Yeah, so
Don't.
this category bans saving and quitting. For the tournament, we have made an exception to that, where if you soft lock on fake flippers, so what happens is you get hit. If you get hit, you get knocked out of the water. The game doesn't really know where to put you, but it lets you stay still, and then as soon as you start moving, the game locks up for real. So if you soft lock, like if you get to the point before the game has fully locked, you're allowed to save and quit back to Link's house. So you can keep the run going, but it's a huge time loss. You get hit here. What?
That was interesting. That was new.
He just jumped from the land onto the land and splashed inside the land.
I'm gonna need one of my good smarty friends to talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's new to me, but it worked. Oh, that happens. Looks like Glan had a little bit of a dead rock party. Got hit by one boulder and got a really nice spin speed. So, oh, it's if you hold diagonal against the ledge. That makes sense.
So yeah, so this is the Death Mountain climb. Glan made it through the worst part of it, only taking 1 damage, which is really good. Sometimes the squirrels and the rocks just sort of conspire to deal you 4 hearts or 5 hearts or something, and then you're sort of living in fear for the rest of the split. Going through the Tower of Hera here on Glan's side. Let's see if Rywek also gets reasonable luck here.
That looks clean.
Yeah, very cooperative.
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to go into the essentially A Link to the Past auto-scroller room.
That's the worst room in the game.
Is it?
I mean, all the rooms that people think of like Mummy Room or Chomps or Moth or whatever, those rooms are like challenging and sometimes unpredictable, but you know, at least they're like interesting. There's something you can do. Here you just have to sit here and poke dash for 40 seconds.
So you're saying that boring is bad?
Yes.
That's what my ex says too.
Oh god.
I mean, I guess you can always do pot spin speed. Yeah, Ham knows what's up.
Yeah, pot spin speed is fun like twice, but you have to do this every single run.
Meanwhile, Rywek in our auto-scroller room, simply slashing, always safe. Well, as long as you slash the right way.
Then having a tiny bit of trouble with the Beatles room. That's another difficult execution room. He saved it really well. Sometimes if you like, what he was trying to do is hit the beetle into the pit and hit the switch with the same slash, but he missed the switch. And sometimes when that happens, you just sort of lose control of the room. But he handled it very well.
Those mold worms were very mean to Glan right there, though. Let's see how he does with our first bomb jump of the run. And it's beautiful. Using a little bonk strat to extend that, making sure that he was in the right set of pixels, technically, or whatever. Bonk make it easy. Yeah.
So normally there's 2 pixels. You have to be on one of 2 pixels in order to bomb jump. If you're in the bonk animation where Link is sort of curling up in pain, I think it's 6. It's either 6 total pixels are good or 6 extra ones are good.
I think it's
a lot.
6 total, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I also want to point out that basically more or less what I said was right. Glan's making me a little nervous, very nervous actually.
Oh boy, Glan.
Oh, goodness gracious. Meanwhile, Rywek using a spin setup for that same bomb jump, and it goes beautifully. You can use a little backing up and use the spin animation with some reverse movement to get exactly to the pixel you need, which is always nice.
Also showing off some knowledge there. Oh, don't do that. Okay, I thought he was going to get hit by the...
And he got saved by on that bumper skip. I'm glad he saw it.
Yeah. When the Kadongo shoots the fire there, you can clip in a couple pixels into that rail to get by it. Kind of a neat little thing to not have to wait out the fire.
Looks like we're keeping a mostly safe distance from Moldworm, making sure that we are... Never mind, and we fall. That's the frustrating part about Moldworm. While there is somewhat of a pattern to him, he goes straight, then he'll turn, then he'll go straight, then he'll turn. The exact direction that he goes is a bit random, so it's not uncommon for this arena to be particularly frustrating.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult fight. Glan now doing tree rupees on his side of the screen. There's certain trees that when you pull them, they give you rupees, and the number of rupees they give you, well, it's always 4 rupees, but which color rupee it is.
The quantity of rupee. The quality of rupee?
Depends on how many enemies you've killed since the last time you pulled a tree or started the game. So he got blue rupees from the first one because we've killed at least 4 enemies at this point, by quite a lot, but we've also taken damage, so what he's doing between the first tree pull and where he's about to get to is killing 4 more enemies without taking another hit, which will get him 4 red rupees, which gets us enough money to pay off a monkey in about, 10 minutes.
Yeah, it does. Now we technically do, I believe this is the priest that talks to us, am I correct? It's been a while. Telepathically, we get a message telling us that everything's horrible at the sanctuary, and we need to get back there, but we ignore that because who's got time? Glan does another tree pull and gets a set of red rupees, putting us comfortably past the rupee barrier that we need.
Yeah, I agree with Kaz. I feel like that was unnecessary. Oh
Obviously,
man,
you guys never went to music school. Each bonk is roughly a 70 frame time loss, depending on where you bonk.
Yeah, he's going for fence dash there, but got frustrated, I guess, and gave up. Making our way into Aghanim's tower. This is a very difficult room. It's one of a few places in the run that are just like very linear, kill a bunch of enemies, get some keys and stuff like that. But they're just sort of a lot of techie difficult rooms with a bunch of enemies in them. Any room in here can go wrong really easily. I've definitely had runs where 5 or 6 of them went wrong in a row, and I, died or lost 35 seconds or whatever.
I guess I would say about Aga Tower, like I was talking to, like I was speaking during the escape section. I feel like it, as difficult as it is, it's a good example of the game testing on us on everything we've learned so far. There's opportunities for all of the items, a lot of combat-heavy rooms, forcing us to really try and show our stamina, our understanding of mechanics and movement. So it's always one of my favorites to watch, especially from the top tier runners.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill-intensive split. Glan getting through here with, well, I guess he's not through yet, but he has the minimum possible arrows. We need 6 for Palace of Darkness. That's what we're leaving with.
Had a slightly slower Foreman's Basement room, but still made it out of there without too much trouble. Rywek having a little bit of trouble with the Fairy Skip room, but makes it through.
We unfortunately got the heart drop, which means that we might not be seeing the fairy in Turtle Rock where we want it. We're trying to set up... When you dash through enemies, they don't drop items, and so ideally what we want to do in that room, the second room, well, I guess the third room of Aga Tower, is kill both of those enemies with a dash, so that later on in the run we can get a fairy drop in Turtle Rock, which is both makes it a lot safer, and also gives us sword beams to save a bunch of time. The fairy drop is the second drop in the prize pack, and we saw the first drop, which is the heart. We're going to kill one more enemy in that prize pack before we get to Turtle Rock, and so that enemy has a 50-50 of dropping the fairy or letting us keep our fairy for TR, so we just have to hope we don't get it on... Stirring Hammer Jump is the Helmasaur, mini helmet that we're going to kill.
Yes. Meanwhile, Glan is in the Aghanim 1 fight, already getting 2 blue balls, which is kind of frustrating. Hopefully that's all we see on his end.
Oh. Maybe. I think we're Captain 3 already. Yeah, it looks like
3.
we're getting 3. Oh, nope.
No.
Different part of the cycle.
4. You cursed it, Fox. How could you?
I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to Glan in post-commentary.
Sorry, Glan. If you rewatch this, it's all my fault.
I hope he's listening. 5. Look what you did. 6.
Oh no.
Now
Well,
to
this might
remind our
even-
listeners, if 7, if anyone gets the maximum number of blue balls during this tournament, which is 15, M. Posler has to buy me drinks, and Chex Human has to buy me a romantic candlelit dinner. Luckily, Glan's only topping out at 7, but that is quite a bit of additional time. Rywek already having a first one in that first cycle, and a second one in that cycle, so we'll see how even we get.
Oh my gosh, Rywek. We're hoping that Aghanim was going to give him a little bit of a break and erase some of Glan's lead, but so far it's looking even worse.
You can never count on evil wizards, I've learned.
No. Hey, an energy ball! Alright, so I think Rywek's at 4 right now.
I believe you're right, but again, counting math's not my thing. I'm just here to be a pretty face and we're not on cam, so take that as you will.
Okay, so Rywek had... I'm pretty sure that was 4 blue balls. Check and correct me if I'm wrong, but that should be about a 24-second time save over Glan's 7. Even things up a little bit. Still definitely behind, though.
Glan, making me a little nervous. Anytime you cut it that close to the Popo, it makes me nervous. Someone please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there are Popos in the Dark World.
Nope.
I always get it wrong on comms. Wait, they're not?
That's a Ropa. The like
Are you kidding me?
the like tan things, like tan bags are Ropas. The like purple and blue tentacle guys are Popos.
I thought that one was in the Dark World and one was in the Light World, but you're telling me that Ropas are in both?
Popos are in both. I don't think there's any Ropas.
Popos are in both! Oh! Guys, tell me I'm pretty and feed me ice cream. Okay?
How many blue balls do we have to get for someone to buy you ice cream?
At least one. I just want ice cream right now, okay? Thank you, Roach. So we are in Palace of Darkness, which is, look at those wonderful Ropas that Rywek is avoiding. They're Ropas, chat. Ropas.
Did Glan just mirror out before opening the big key chest?
I was too busy committing to the bit, honestly.
I thought I saw him blowing up the floor, but I might have been hallucinating.
He did blow up the floor, but I thought it was... I think that was his only time blowing up the floor.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I didn't see any... So the reason that I think I'm confused is I was about to say before I went off on that tirade that part of Palace of Darkness is that it is very...
Okay, so he got his key route and he didn't have a small key on his way to the big key because of what you're explaining, which I just rudely interrupted you in the middle of. I'm sorry.
We move in and out a lot. we mirror, and then we have to do the same thing but different. Glan setting up for the hammer jump, a double pixel perfect jump that is big time save with the right number of buffers, but he is making me sweaty. The Prince of Paws buffers. There we are. What did I tell you?
That wasn't the fastest bomb jump, but it's almost impossible to get that bomb jump and lose time over not going for it. It saves an outrageous amount of time.
What about Dead Rocks, Kaznode?
I think dead rocks are tektites.
Are they?
I think skellies are probably jellies because it rhymes.
Oh, I'm thinking of Popos. Notice how both Rywek and Glan are on the same screen, but going two different ways. That's part of the confusion I'm talking about. We'll see how Rywek sets up his hammer jump over here.
Hopefully it goes a little smoother for him. I'm having a little trouble getting to the first position.
Ooh, you know what I just noticed? I've
What's
got some
that?
ice cream in the fridge.
Ooh.
Well, it's actually in the freezer. I don't keep my ice cream in the fridge. Nice hammer jump.
Yeah, I had a little trouble making it to the first pixel, but then...
Yeah, but when you got there, we got there, yeah. Rywek, like me, opts to wait to bomb the cracked entryway past the big chest, which is a little bit... It's a time loss, but it's a little bit safer. Glan managing the RNG in Turtle Room fairly nicely, taking 0 damage there. We love to see it.
And also, in the first room in the basement, had the heads up to pick up an extra bomb because he, as I was saying earlier, he messed up his small key routing, and so he bombed the floor an extra time. So he remembered to compensate for being down a bomb by picking up an extra one.
Getting those extra arrows would be helpful later. Glanimal Flannelman. That Helmasaur King. Whoopee!
That was an excellent Helmasaur King.
Is it hot in here, or is it just Glan's Helmasaur King? I must comment on the fashion choices that I am seeing on Rywek's personal stream. Wearing an Aghanim shirt does not guarantee you good Aghanim luck, unfortunately, but it is a righteous shirt. Oh, that was a Turtle Room of the Gods and Goddesses and those beyond the binary. Lovely from Rywek. Very lovely. We love to see that.
Oh, I think Rywek had the key dash there.
I think you may be correct. Doing some
Rywek
spin
also
speed
going
strats.
for spin speed, yeah. So this, if you do a spin dash in here, which is kind of like setting up spin speed, but there's nowhere to get actual super speed. What it does is it makes it so that the hammer, instead of having its normal hitbox, it has the hitbox that Link has while dashing, which is just like, oh boy, be careful.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
that was a very scary Helmasaur, but we made it through. But yeah, the while facing upwards in particular, the hammer hitbox is really terrible, and so replacing it with the dashing hitbox is a fairly recent find that not everybody likes it, but a lot of us really think that it makes the fight tremendously easier. Yeah, Blue pointing out that he canceled the spin dash state in order to be able to slash to finish Helmasaur off, which was definitely a heads-up play to keep some distance. The sword still has a lot more range.
We've talked quite a bit throughout this tournament so far about knowing your backups, knowing your safeties, and that was a perfect example of that. I've not seen Glan go for this at that point. Okay. Glan getting an item known as the flute. Fun fact about Glanimal, he used to, at one point in his life, play the flute.
Me too.
Same, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I played the flute in middle school band.
I played it, actually.
Terrible.
I was in only in 5th and 6th grade band. I played flute, and then again in jazz band.
Glan getting owned by Usain Bolt there, which is unfortunate.
The fastest guard in all of Hyrule. Frustrating to see, but murder dactyl attack on Rywek's side, but that dactyl is mean.
So, you never want to take damage, but Thieves Town is not an especially bad place to take damage. You don't need beams for anything. The boss, if nothing goes wrong, is scripted, so...
If nothing goes wrong.
Well, right. Obviously things can go wrong, but as far as places to take damage go, it's better than a lot of others. Rywek looks like he got his movement between the light world and the dark world confused on that screen.
Yeah, a little, but we're all going to the same place.
Yeah. It's a little bit of backtracking.
Fun fact, me playing the flute actually came in handy when I did Tamino in a 2013 production of Die Zauberflöte.
I don't know what any of those words meant.
Die Zauberflöte translates to the magic flute.
Oh, I've heard of that.
The more you know, NBC cares. Let's see how Rywek does against our fast... There we go. Nice.
Making it.
So I'm going to go over the rules for trivia, because we are nearing that point, friends. So trivia is a fun thing that we do in our A Link to the Past tournaments here sometimes, where a commentator is going to... let me start from the beginning. I'm going too ahead of myself. There's a lovely, beautiful maiden who is totally just a maiden inside the dungeon that Glan is dashing through right now. Link will save this maiden, and when he does, one of the commentators, in this case me, will read off That perfect. So for that headway go. Chef's kiss.
Yeah, very nice.
We'll read off a trivia question twice. You will have until the second runner catches the boss's crystal to answer that question correctly. The first person to get the question correct will receive 1 thumbs up from me virtually, but I'm not on camera, so you won't see it. Just take my word for it.
Maybe we'll put it in the chat if we're feeling generous.
Hey, don't go promising things we can't afford. We're on a strict budget here at Zelda Speedruns.
Glan having a nice, uneventful Thieves Town, by the way. Rywek just got in, and he is going for the compass. Because he thinks he's playing rando. There we go, he remembers the time.
Alright, there we go. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of, there are definitely a lot of chests in this game that in vanilla runs we just completely ignore.
Yeah, wait, I said compass. I don't actually know what's in that chest. I'm just guessing. But yeah, that's one of the chests that rando players who don't play as much NMG often get because it's right on your path. So you just sort of autopilot through the room and find yourself opening a chest.
Yeah, there's definitely a point where you kind of just have to flip a switch and be like, all right, this is NMG. Okay, how do I have to change my normal thought process? You know? Making it through that heckway without too much trouble on Rywek's side, a few little bumps and bruises. I didn't read the question. Goodness gracious.
It's okay, do it now.
Pull it up.
While Glan executes the script on blind.
In The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, after killing enough in one cycle, these 3 overworld enemies can spawn giant variants. In The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, after killing enough in one cycle, these 3 overworld enemies can spawn giant variations of themselves. You have until at least Rywek catches the crystal. And please name all 3 of the overworld enemies.
I mean, I have no idea. I can't. Oh, Rywek missing that bomb. It's not a big deal. There's plenty of other bombs, but obviously kind of a bummer to pick up the pot and then not get it.
Did I am I reusing this?
I don't know.
Before? Lever, Stalfos, and something. You're close. It's not quite right. Now, if you have a Zelda trivia question that you would like to see featured in a future NMG tournament stream, or you are an attractive, independently wealthy male looking for a lover, my DMs are open.
Both players, by the way, had some trouble on the conveyor bridge, which is one of the nastiest rooms in Thieves Town.
Absolutely.
Rywek coming up on his scripted fight.
Twin, I'm gonna give it to you, Twin Mommy 23. Here's your thumbs up. When in the overworld in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, you can find spawns for giant stall children on Hyrule Field. Rywek taking an unfortunate death.
What are we gonna do? Are we gonna... Okay, we're going straight into the refight. Are we gonna pick up hearts? Or are we trying to do it without beams?
I personally prefer having beams on refight. That's just...
Yeah. I agree. I don't know if he doesn't know where they all are, or if he's just not familiar with that strat, but this makes me nervous. This is a really, really difficult fight to do without the script. It turns into a horrifying bullet hell really fast. Okay, playing it very safe, waiting for blind to come down. I
Oof,
don't think I know where all the cards are either.
I think I know where. I can think of 3. No, 2. I can think of where some anti-fairies are.
Ham's got us.
Rywek making it through that refight beautifully.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Meanwhile, with our new carrot sword, Glan is heading through towards the back of Skull Woods for, in my opinion, the second worst room in the game. But it looks like it's behaving very nicely for him.
Yeah, nice work. Also, I just noticed shoutouts to Glan getting a gold Thieves Town.
We love to see golds, we love to see PBs. We've seen quite a few this tournament, and I'm sure we'll see more.
We sure have. A lot of people have really stepped it up for the NMG tournament.
Really, guys, I will mention, chat, you're slacking off. I have no one in my DMs right now. Meanwhile, another bomb jump on Glan's side of the screen, and it doesn't quite go as planned.
We're getting an EBJ here.
We're trying to get an
God,
EBJ. He has had a little bit of trouble with this prior in the tournament as well, in his last group stage match. And the attempted redemption wasn't quite there yet, but I'm sure we'll see it later on in the tournament. An unfortunate skull bush, but gets through it nicely.
Having a little bit of a Skullwoods right now. He's 3 hearts going into the back. He's not at a great bomb count. He got a skull bush. He bonked on the first time, or I guess the second time on that overworld screen. Just really everything is kind of happening right now. I don't think either of these players got any safeties. Maybe Rywek got the mushroom? I'll have to try to remember to look at the next time he menus. Glan losing his miscellaneous prize pack arrow drop there too, unfortunately.
And those mummies are just being nasty. But we got the fire rod dash.
Nice key mummy. I was wondering if he was going to opt to pick up the heart in that room, but just goes for the regular strat instead. Very nice moth fight.
Making it through that moth is always frustrating. So good on you, Glan, for that.
Rywek didn't even go for fence dash, unfortunately. He's doing a 4-dash strat in C-shaped house, which is a number of dashes I've never seen in that room before.
I can concur with that.
Almost dashing into a spear, but getting got by a fork instead. I don't know how, like, is 4 dashes worse than 6, or is it better because it's less dashes, or worse because it's more weird, or I don't know.
See how our statue mummy room works. Ooh, having to adjust a little bit for that. Oh no. Okay. Rywek, oof. That's not on you, friendo, if you're listening. That's on those darn mummies.
That's a really tough room, yeah. Sometimes the RNG just totally gets you. Oh, almost dashing down into the hole. That'd be pretty interesting to see somebody do intended strat fire rod.
Nice bomb jump.
Yeah. Showing off those spin strats.
We're looking on Glan's side.
Glan a quick fisher. Nope. Oh, and Rywek dashing out of the key pod room too, man. Fricker, avert your eyes if you're in here.
To each their own. At this point, my goal would be get through. Just make it. Game is hard. And so much in tournaments and any kind of competition, it's a lot of mental strategy. And I always have to remind myself, I come from a competition background in other things, that a lot of the times you're racing against yourself. Like, especially in speedrunning, nothing that Glan does on his screen is really going to change what you can do on your screen.
Right, that's pretty much correct, yeah.
Obviously, there are things where you're like, okay, well, I'm going to skip Sankart so that I can blah, 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 blah. But I think for what I mean is, you know, you're racing the game. Sometimes the game's going to be mean.
Right.
It's a life lesson.
Sometimes if you know you're far ahead, you can maybe take some extra safety or something, but generally doing stuff that's not what you always do is dangerous. Generally it's best to just play your game.
Glan getting a really nice warp there.
Yeah, that was nicely done.
Yeah, that warp, we're not just talking about him like, oh, he swam into it. That warp particularly can be kind of a jerk.
Yeah, and the Zora there, oh, I guess he forgot to toot the flute. The Zora there spawned in a place where it's sort of deceptive, but Glan read it correctly and opted to go for it instead of waiting, which was, you know, the correct choice, but not necessarily easy to see as what you're supposed to do. Making our way through Ice Palace now, coming up in a few rooms on the Ice Palace bomb jump, which is the most important trick in the run by a large amount.
Absolutely.
It's not easy, but everyone's practiced it a lot. Hopefully we won't have any trouble with it.
Update for those who were asking, I know it was important to you. I got my ice cream out of the freezer. Happy.
Congratulations.
Congratulate me when I'm eating. The strat there is that you have to actually... Oh, Glan, no! I'm in a little trouble. Tried the damage boost strat and it didn't quite go how we wanted. Should be fine, though.
Yeah, his beam got blocked and he killed the wrong berry instead of the one with the key. I think that's good. So that bomb jump, you see the pegs are up instead of down. That saves us like close to 2 minutes, I believe.
I know I always say it, but shoutouts to AGDQ 2020 where I was learning this route for the first time, and I hadn't learned IPBJ yet, and I tried to do a run just to see how I did, and I got to IPBJ, and everyone said, well, I don't actually know the real way to go through it, so...
Yeah.
Ooh. The Zora's Domain screens can be a little bit deceiving. We see Rywek taking a slight swim where it didn't really look like he needed to. That's just how that screen is sometimes. Sometimes it looks like you're on land, sometimes it looks like you're in water, and you're the opposite. Meanwhile, dropping into our meanie 3 cloud eyes, hold stare.
Cold Stare is probably responsible for the most upsets in races of this video game.
Absolutely.
If things go wrong, things go really, really wrong, and you often die. And getting back to Cold Stare with no magic, generally you go do Swamp first, then redo all of Ice. It costs you like 3 minutes or more. It's an easy way to just lose 3 minutes all at once. Glan getting it through just fine.
Yeah, one of the Cloud Eyes did get away from him there, but he managed it very well. Got through. So we should see Rywek heading into Ice Palace now.
Making his way through... You were saying then Cold Stare sort of took our attention, but the Ice Palace overworld is one of the hardest overworlds in the game, especially Zora's Domain, but just like all of those screens have a lot going on. Just getting to the dungeon can be a whole ordeal.
Absolutely. From here, we will be heading, assumedly, to Swamp Palace or to Death Mountain to get some errands out of the way.
Gonna go buy an Ether Medallion.
Almost perfect cabbage screen that gets
Wow.
bonked just at the last second. That's frustrating.
Glan just ran right under one of those cabbages, and it was so brave, and I definitely never would have done it. Definitely would have waited for it to pass, but Glan knows more than me.
If it works out for you, it works out.
Time for the North Quick Hop. What a gamer.
Mm-hmm. A bit of a nicer conveyor belt room on Rywek's side. Let's see how the IPPJ goes.
Do you spin strats for this jump as well?
Very nice.
Very good, yep.
I would be happy with that. You know, I'd pay money. Meanwhile, Glenn getting another bush guard, but right on the transition, so who cares? As he makes his way towards Swamp Palace.
I kind of like it when you get a bush guard on a transition, because they're usually still in iframes during the transition, and they're like
Yes.
pink or green or whatever.
Yeah, that's what happened. You know what must be the worst part of Swamp Palace for Link? His
What's that?
boots are the worst part of Swamp Palace for Link is probably the fact that his boots are wet the entire time.
Maybe they have magical hydrophobic powers.
Ooh, maybe that's what the magic is. 'Cause they're called the magic boots, aren't they? Are they?
They're called the Pegasus boots.
The Pegasus boots. I knew it was something.
But I'm pretty sure they're magical in some way or another. See how
Fox, you know what else is
There
magic?
it goes. Friendship.
How'd you know?
Was that really what you were gonna say?
Yes! Very nice on Rywek's side of the screen with that cold stare fight. Gets through, no issues. I'm happy with it. Good for you. Hey, that boss is a booty sometimes.
Yeah, good to see both runners getting through. Rywek opted for a 6/ versus Glance. I believe single poke. It's a little bit easier to do, but a little bit slower and a little bit more RNG dependent. But I mean, it worked out for him. He got all 3 puffs at once, and Glan let one away. So it's definitely not a bad strat. A lot of people like it.
I will say that one of the puffs did make a break for it, but he managed to contain it.
So I am guessing that Rywek is going to do Swamp here, but it's possible that he's a Gold and Silvers player. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, yeah. Looks like he's going to Swamp based on his splits.
Yeah. Man, I was gonna say something like fancy, like, well, based on his swamp time, it looks like he's. And then I was like, oh wait, no, it says swamp right there.
Getting Ice Rod.
You do what you do.
Curious to see if he also gets Ether here.
So am I, honestly. Well, based on his swamp time, it's very likely that I have no idea.
I'm guessing no Ether. I don't think you can do this in 8 minutes with both. This bando, yeah.
See, I was joking, but you guys, you're just like, oh, of course. Oh, look what we're doing. Look what we're doing. We're gonna go get Ether.
That's because I completely misread his splits. It's not an 8-minute swamp, it's an 850 swamp.
Deciding against the spin speed, just gonna make it through there. Nothing wrong with that, but getting the second spin speed on the long ladder. Glan getting his big key for Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace, a lot like Palace of Darkness, there's a decent amount of retracing your steps that we see. So he's making his way back towards sort of the centralized hub of Ice Palace that we see right here.
Yeah, there's sort of two kinds of dungeons. There's dungeons where mirroring back to the beginning and walking to the hub is faster, and there's ones where you have to walk back to the hub. Swamp is one where you have to walk back to the hub after getting the big key, as opposed to something like Palace of Darkness where you mirror a bunch of times.
It does seem like that is a mainstay in Zelda dungeon design.
Ooh, Rywek accidentally just mirroring.
And
Maybe not
how
an accident.
to
What's going
mire?
on?
What is happening? Oh. I'm not sure.
I'm very
maybe
confused.
Realized that he went to Mire and wanted to go to Swamp.
I
guess.
Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe he changed his shopping route, or used to be getting gold and silvers or something like that.
Or
in that
he just likes
situation,
to keep us confused, you know?
maybe, yeah, keeping us on our toes. In that situation, you should actually just do Mire once you're already there.
In the end, it doesn't really save much time.
Yeah, the amount faster that Mire is after Swamp is much less than a mirror and an extra flute. I actually I had a PB in the 126 range where I did Mire and Swamp backwards. I just sort of lost my mind.
And it isn't uncommon for people to get confused with that, especially if they are gold and silver players. They typically do Mire beforehand.
And so right after you switch, or right after you change where you get Ether or something, it's very easy to get confused.
Yeah.
Glan opting to do an unusual thing, not going for Zero Cycle Argus, but going for the Fire Rod Quick Kill. I mean, it worked out perfectly for him, but it's a somewhat uncommon combination of strats to see. I get so nervous when people still have the mirror equipped this deep into Swamp. I'm worried they're going to try to hammer something and accidentally mirror out. There we go.
Yeah, same. I remember when I realized that some of my friends do the thing where you switch to the mirror at the last hit of the boss fight, so that you can just mirror quickly. And I was like, oh, I can do that, and I accidentally mirrored out of one of the bosses like 3 times.
Yep, that. Definitely seen that before.
So now, what Glan's probably going to do here will look very similar to something we saw on Rywek's side of the screen a little while ago. Fluting to 6 to head to Miserable Misery Mire, which, Chad, if you wouldn't know, is filled with popos. Popos.
Rywek got the second arrow drop in the miscellaneous prize pack and also did not go far enough out of his way to get it. I'm not sure if it would have been good to get or not, but he has plenty of arrows, so it's fine. Yes, there are popos in Mire.
I will point them out to all of you. No popos on this screen.
No, what are those called though?
Oh, don't do this to me. Those are popos.
Those are popos.
And Wizrobes. And Abimos.
Nice
Another
Mire
fun
too.
one.
Oh,
Where
well,
you
okay,
know,
that's
missed
okay.
the one, but still. I will also say that the Zaziks that we saw in Thieves Town, a fun fact about those, they're not horses, they're lizards.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Always-
I think we learned
yeah,
that
no.
from the anime or something.
Yeah, and the concept art was also lizardly.
Okay.
I actually learned that from Glan back in late 2019, early 2020.
Oh, the slime enemies, by the way, I think they're called Zot, like ZOT or something like that.
I think you're correct, but I'm also going to look it up just for sanity's sake, while I also link the concept art of the Zazik for everyone.
Rywek here picking up his hookshot. Land. Lighting 4 torches. Get a 17-second break while a wall in a different room moves. Glan looks like he's on probably 127 pace. Like lowish 127 pace. That of course depends on having a good endgame though. That is not what the Zazacs in the game look like at all. They just don't look like that concept art.
Absolutely not. But, you know, I have to be honest.
It's important work we're doing.
Yes. Keep us honest over here. Were you talking about the Zols? Z-O-L?
Zol. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Zot is the tower in Final Fantasy IV, of course. That's true, the blue ones don't breathe fire.
You know, you guys can take that up with the A Link to the Past concept artists, not me.
Alright, get me on the phone with them.
Alright, let's see how this iBoy is doing for our friend Rywek. You know, it just makes you wonder if LTTP got a Link's Awakening style remaster, what would the Zazics look like? Bellasaurus, the answer was the Stall Children in Hyrule Field, and the Levers and Gways in Desert Colossus.
I kind of hope that they don't ever remaster this game. I do not trust Nintendo to do remasters.
The way I always look at it, and I am surprisingly, I mean, Fox, you know me, I'm not much of an optimist in real life, but as far as video games and media are concerned, I'm always open to them making something more accessible to a new generation. Like,
Fair, I don't know.
It's hard for us a lot of the times to see that, but it's also really hard for a new generation of gamers, I'm talking the younger kids, to even see a game like this and be able to, one, train themselves to read between the lines as to what the game is asking them, which is an issue that I personally have at my age with a lot of earlier Final Fantasy games, as well as just, you know, to a lot of the newest generation who's gaming out there, the retro Zelda game is Ocarina of Time. Like, that is the lowest level graphic that they think of sometimes.
Oh, true.
And trust me, I say this as a former educator. It's wild. I mean, I don't know about Rywek, but Glan wasn't even alive when this game came out.
Yeah. Man, time.
Time, y'all. Let's see this Meyer 2 strat. Yeah, how does that make you feel? Makes you feel old? I'm a few months older than this game.
I am a few years older than this game. Actually, I don't know exactly when this game came out. More than 1 year.
November 1991.
Okay, yeah, so about 2 years. Yeah, I didn't like the Link's Awakening remaster at all, really. There's definitely some good stuff in it, but
that was my first experience with Link's Awakening, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it was
it was fun.
I mean, I thought some stuff about it was good, but I don't know. I really don't like the aesthetic, and I don't know.
Meanwhile,
I feel like I should stop this.
I've put us on a tirade here, haven't I? let people like things that they like, and it's okay if you don't agree with them, is all I'm gonna end that with. Glan having a little bit of a cabbage party heading towards Turtle Rock. Making it across that broken bridge to head up the mountain.
So technically, with 3 hearts of damage on Death Mountain, you can still have full hearts if you don't take any extra unnecessary damage and you get the fairy drop. So hopefully it's fine. But we'll see what actually happens. And I don't know if he has the heart or not. I wasn't paying attention on Hammer Jump to see.
So Turtle Rock being our last crystal dungeon can be very difficult. I mentioned earlier that I think that Skullwood's statue drag room with the mummies is the second worst room in the game. We've talked a little bit about it already, in that I think that Chomp's in this dungeon is the worst room in that game. We're really hoping that fairy skip in Aghanim's tower plays out how we want it to, and we're just about to see that.
So
Keep your eyes open, yeah.
that's funny. Rywek missing the small magic on the floor and then getting the one under the pot. I guess he realized halfway through the room that he had missed a shot. Rywek, I want to point out, he didn't hook shot across the gap in the Cane of Samaria room.
I was gonna ask that if that was another possible remnant of switching Mire and skull position, maybe, or is that a strat?
I'm pretty sure that he must have just switched off of the gold sword and silver route, because you don't have the hook shot there if you're getting gold sword and silvers, because you do Mire before Swamp. But you know, it could just definitely be that he doesn't like it. It saves a negligible amount of time. It's mostly just easier.
Absolutely. Glan missing the torches hook shot, but heading into this pokey room, let's see how it goes. No fairy. Let's hope that Chomps are kind today. So far,
They're not.
They're not.
He did get the heart drop though, which is nice because it means that if he gets the fairy later in the dungeon, he will have beams, and he took another half heart of damage.
Glan! Glan, you're gonna make me melt. That was so scary. Meanwhile, a very nice fight so far on Rywek's side of the screen with our Misery Mire boss.
Yeah, he got one lightning cycle. You can get it and kill all the eyeballs before the first lightning cycle, but it's not easy. Glan skipping the arrow pot there, so I guess he's confident in his ability to do to get the chest in Ganon's tower.
That's some RNG.
Hey, oh,
Funny.
there's everything.
Yeah, there's everything we were hoping for. Makosler tips Fedora, heading into another nice, fun Nintendo fact. Kosler, another very capable runner of this game, opting not to return for NMG, but despite his illegitimate, not-so-fun facts, a very good source for A Link to the Past knowledge if you actually force him to talk to you about it. Glan makes it through those pokies.
Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble there. That's a difficult room.
It is. It was not the worst RNG in the world, but not the best either. Rywek having a little bit of trouble with that hook scoop and immediately getting body-yaddy-yaddied by that squirrel.
And that's why we don't go for the Waffle House drive-thru.
Is that why they call it? Okay.
I believe they call it that because a runner named Waffle
Yes.
tried to do it and messed up and died.
So more facts about me, because why else are we here? I live in Georgia, the Waffle House capital of the world. I think, I don't know. And I genuinely, whenever someone said Waffle House, I thought that they were talking about the Waffle House at AGDQ that I never got to go to with anyone, and I thought it was like a joke about something that happened there. So now I kind of understand a little better. Very nice laser skip on Glan's side of the stream to get things back on track.
Well, I think Rywek got the quick warp too.
I think he did.
Oh,
I think you're right.
didn't look like that. I don't know. Not 100% sure. Oh wow, I thought you were gonna run into that pokey. Goodness gracious.
Same.
Coming up on Trinex now, nobody can figure out why this boss is named Trinex. It's a mystery
Makes no
for the
sense.
ages. Oops.
Glan attempting to do the behind strats, but taking a little bit of a struggle there. Still okay, taking a little bit more damage than I think he would like. But I think
He's fine.
fine to still kill the final head.
The big risk in this fight is, well, dying or running out of magic. And he didn't miss any rod shots, which was good because he had to do an extra one. But worked out okay. Neither of the heads decided to be super mean to him. Rywek doing the hookshot up to that chest that everyone thinks is going to save time, but actually loses time. You should hookshot up to that chest. PSA. Making his way into his Chomp's room. I, again, have not been tracking the prize packs as closely as I should be. I don't know if he's that fairy. There it is. Alright.
Oh, and looks like Rywek was just as confused as I was with that. But happy. Very nice Chomp's room.
See ya, Rywek. Well, never mind. Then making his way into Gam's Tower. It's our last dungeon of the game. Very fun dungeon.
Very fun dungeon.
It has some parallels. I haven't been putting them out, but the Dark World parallels the Light World in a bunch of ways, and this. Oh wow, I thought he was going to get laser there.
I did too, but
yeah. So this is kind of like Aga Tower from the Light World, where you climb up it in a sort of linear sequence of sort of difficult, fast-paced rooms. But we have to go to the basement and solve some puzzles and get through a maze to get the big key first.
Another fun parallel is our 4 Light World bosses are going to make a bit of a reappearance in this tower.
Yep.
There was such a silence there that I was like, "Oh God, am I wrong?" Like,
no, I was just typing. Yeah, each one with a twist, which we'll see shortly. Glan threw that from so far over to the right that he paused and realized it and just let it happen instead of having to add an extra menu. Very good catch by him.
Again, it's keeping those safeties intact. Knowing what you can do when things go a little bit differently than normal.
For sure. You're never going to make it through a run of this game without something going wrong. And being able to deal with it when that happens is really necessary. Let's hope that Glan remembers to get his arrows.
Fingers crossed. Otherwise, we're gonna have a either a mirror or a fun little change of pace, potentially, depending on how this Ice Armos and Mimics go.
He remembered.
Not
that anyone would forget to get enough arrows to kill Ice Armos in this tournament or anything. Definitely not calling myself out.
So if you remember Rywek's bottom right strats for the original Armos, we see them basically come back here in Armos on Ice. Fun for the whole family. And Glan doing them beautifully to get our big key and another set of 10 arrows. At the same time, Rywek heading in on our three-headed, would you call him a dragon?
See that? Yeah, he's kind of got a turtle shell, but he's kind of got lizardy necks, so I can see dragon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with dragon.
He went for the front approach on purpose instead of Glan sort of messing up the backdoor strats, as we call them. So
Behind
probably
strats,
went a little more behind.
Nervous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Went a little more according to plan.
Why am I the way I am? Yep. Went great, and now we will see Rywek heading into Ganon's tower just as Glan makes his way through the upper portion.
Yep, this is the part of the dungeon that's just, it's very linear. There's no, like, forking paths or anything. You just gotta get through all the rooms in a row, but most of them are very challenging to get through fast. There's the gauntlet here, which is 5 rooms.
Yeah.
Gotta kill the enemies, tons of RNG, tons of conveyors, spikes, BMOS, everything trying to kill you.
I think I've asked most of my co-commentators this. Fox, what do you think is the worst room in Gauntlet?
So I'm pretty sure it's Gauntlet 2, but lately I've been revising my hatred of Gauntlet 3 up a lot.
Yeah, 2 and 4 have actually been the most common for me.
Interesting.
And there is a particularly tall, washed-up runner who gets a bit upset if you say that it's 2.
A tall, washed-up runner.
Yeah, it's Josh.
Okay. That was gonna be my guess, but I don't know how tall he is.
He's pretty. I mean, everyone's taller than me. I'm 5'6". It could also be Duck. You know, a 2-cycle Landmo 2 can be frustrating, but it's better than a 3-cycle, so we'll take it.
Definitely true.
And still looking good enough on magic that we don't really have to seem to worry about.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Rywek, meanwhile... Thanks, Costler. Rywek, meanwhile, opting to get the torch key in the basement. There's 3 keys in Ganon's tower, and you have to get any 2 of them. Between the torch key, the Helmasaur key, and the pre-Moldorm chest key. I'm pretty sure that Glan is going to get the chest key.
Yes, usually I believe Glan does. I also noticed Glan taking it extra safe to make sure that he doesn't, you know, lock himself in at Torches 2. Before Torches 2, I mean.
Yeah, would be bad.
Yeah, but he took that step. He was like, alright, maybe I went a little fast there, and saved it, so good on him. Now he's heading into Moldorm 2, Electric Boogaloo, and takes a bonk, because this snake is evil. Come on, man.
Yeah, lost a frame roll there, but didn't get knocked off, luckily. Was able to clean it up pretty comfortably.
To be fair, Joss, I typically describe Moldorm as an evil burger snake. You know, as much as a Pokemon fan as I am, I've never heard Moldorm described as a Caterpie. Unfortunate anti-fairy placement there for Rywek as he drops in, but it shouldn't be too big of an issue.
Yeah, that's great for Rywek. I think he got enough hits that he's going to need 2 extra pots of magic, depending on what strats he goes for. Hopefully he's paying enough attention that he is aware of it. It's definitely like... It's not like run ending. You can definitely handle it, but you have to remember to, and it's really easy to forget.
Glan adjusting to these Aga 2 as well as he can.
Yeah,
There we go.
Disgustingly difficult fight.
Yeah, it's mostly just geometry, and geometry can be very hard. Just because there are some patterns,
Oh wow.
especially this tournament, I've seen some really rough Aga patterns.
Rywek actually dropping a knowledge bomb in chat of magic pots in MJ room.
Yeah, and doing a little mimic manip to make sure that he gets some safety over there. Also grabbing the arrow drops that came with it.
see if he manages to use all 17 arrows before the end of the run. I'm gonna guess no.
So, you know what? Glan has dropped into his Ganon fight, opting to do some dash strats in our spinning trident phase. Likely knowing Glan, some almost perfect dodging. Took one hit coming out of the phase. Now we're counting warps. Rywek heading into his gauntlet. A very beautiful G1, if I do say so myself.
I can't wait.
Warps, really not bad.
Dashed a little high there.
Yeah. Glan
Yeah, what was
into
that,
the
2 warps
final
for that?
praise. 2 warps that I saw, yes.
Nice.
Gets Torch Glitch, misses that hit, unfortunately. He's just gonna... Yeah, this is what I would do, too. Play it safe, make sure you know where Ganon's gonna be.
No
Make sure
cape
it's
spin.
close.
Unwatchable.
Yeah. It's alright. He's doing
I'm
his
totally
best.
kidding. I'm not doing cape spins in the tournament. I don't think.
Beautiful land mode 2 on Rywek's side of the screen. Shoutouts to a 1 cycle land mode 2. Glan just cleaning up on this Ganon fight right now. Some really strong calculated plays, in my opinion. Get your G's in chat as Glan blows up the pig. And ends with an official SRL time of...
I'm sorry, a what?
Oh no, I did it! I knew I was gonna do it at some point! An official racetime.gg time of... 1:28:16. Oh gosh, guys, I'm a failure and I'm so sorry. Blame it on the ice cream sugar high.
Yeah, so GG's to Glan. I'm sure we'll be asking him or welcoming him in for an interview. I don't know if he'll be interested or not. While Rywek is finishing up the last couple of floors of the tower. You'll see here in the next room, he's going to get to skip opening this chest. Oh boy. Oh, nice that he had a backup
Thank
bomb.
goodness, yeah, we had a backup bomb.
He's going to get to skip this this chest. And
But wants to get the magic.
that's not the movement I would have recommended, but
You know, we got there.
we did
And
get
that matters.
Moldorm being really unkind here. There we go. Finally manages to expose his tail for long enough to get hit.
Heading into our geometry boss fight, let's see how this goes. If the Aga shirt brings us a little bit better luck in patterns. So far, not bad. Hopefully that counted as a 3 hit, but it might have counted as a 2. I didn't quite...
Pretty sure it was a triple.
I think so too. Only 1 hit on that second phase. I just know that every time I say that it's a triple, it's not. So I don't want to jinx it. Very
Like
nice.
opting for all spins. Definitely a way to get consistent damage out. Sometimes it means you can't go for all of the hits on a cycle, but you're almost never going to not get any damage on a cycle. So it's good for consistency in that fight.
And with that beep, we are joined by Prince of Pause Buffers himself, Glanimal the Animal Flannelman. GG's Glanimal.
Hi,
Jeez, Glan.
thank you.
Meanwhile, Rywek is popping down that hole into Ganon. So Glan, talk to us a little bit.
Yeah.
7 blue balls, not very
Yeah.
fun,
Mm-hmm.
but a very nice run. A few frustrating moments here and there, but
Yeah.
can't be mad about that. And I think I noticed in your chat you were saying, "Hey, I was only without Aga, it would have been plus 14 on PB.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely a good run. It looks like you've been. I was checking the group stages, and it looks like you've been putting out a lot of consistent, like low to mid 128s lately.
Yeah. Seems to be where I sit right now.
So,
Even though
Glan,
I
tell
can
us-
do better.
Well, we can
Yes.
always do better.
Yes.
So tell us, what were some highlights of the run for you? What were some things that you felt went really well? And what were maybe some things that you wish could have gone better?
I feel like Swamp was pretty decent overall. And
You
so
golded
was Thieves,
Thieves.
obviously. I golded.
Beautiful Thieves. Other than the little bomb jump issues that we were having in Swamp, or not Swamp, Skull, that was a beautiful skull.
Yeah, it was alright.
Moth fight was very nice.
It was great.
Yeah, I guess those were like the main best things.
Definitely.
Run. Desert was also pretty good up until Landmo.
You kept it
Oh, it was okay.
cool. That first round of Landmo in Desert was not kind to you. I am going to interrupt for a moment. Everyone, please get your GGs in chat. Rywek blowing up the pig and holding his sword up.
Used to Rywek. Also, actually, extraordinarily, almost exactly the same amount over his PB as Glan. Plus 106 on his PB versus plus 104. Both players putting out very good, consistent runs for their PB times.
Absolutely. Now, but yeah, Glan, it was a very solid. Especially the light world felt pretty comfy for me. That Helmasaur King.
Oh yeah.
That was so
made
good.
me weep tears of joy, and your perfect pixel in the Thieves Heck way was also made me gasp.
I'm
Rywek now,
glad.
GG's Rywek.
GG, Glenn.
GG.
What a race. I knew I didn't stand a chance of winning, but I had to try. I had
With
I
that,
kept it
I
up.
believe we are. So, Rywek, there were some pretty good moments in your. Do you want to talk?
Am I the only one having trouble hearing Anders?
No.
No, my internet went out for a second, but I was complimenting everyone, so just know that. So, Rywek, do you want to talk us through a few of the really nice things that you felt went super well in your run?
I didn't need the powder. I only dropped the powder 3 hours ago.
Okay.
Well, it was the right choice.
Okay. Yeah, it worked really well. We had a few questions. How long have you been going without golds and silvers, for example?
I have never gone 4 golds or silvers.
Mood.
Yeah, I was never taught to go get them, so I never got them.
Ask what
I feel
happened
that.
in the swamp mire confusion then.
Because that's where
yeah,
I was a little lost.
I was getting very, very tired towards the end, and I was doing some randoing, and rando mistakes happen a lot when I get tired, and this isn't rando, so...
Feel that.
Gotcha. Yeah, we saw you almost pick up an extra chest in Thieves Town.
Yeah, almost did.
But hey, speaking of Thieves Town, a great refight on blind there. Without meetings, so heck yeah.
Oh, you can thank all my inverted training for that. But yeah. I'm pretty happy about my run still. Like, I'm a minute off my PB, but like, I'm still so proud that I did this run without the powder. Like, yeah!
I mean, a minute off your powder in a forced no reset tournament run is like always something you gotta be okay with that.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so
Very, very nice.
I've got the bracket up here. Glan is going to be playing Pika Pals next. And Rywek is going to be playing the winner of Chelsea Lynn versus Master Omelette. Do either of you have any words for your upcoming opponents?
Fight me.
I like it.
You probably have
I
a
do
better
think
chance
that's
than you think.
I don't know. I've seen Chelsea play. She's more consistent than I am.
Hmm.
Either way, I'm sure it's going to be an amazing race to watch. Both of you definitely made my blood pressure go up a little bit too high during this late of a race, so thank you for that.
Sorry.
It's all good. Happens every time. Yeah, that's all of my typical questioning. Anything, Fox or either of the runners, anything else you'd like to mention?
Me?
All right, then I think we'll pass it back to our
All right.
amazing ZSR restreamer.
Okay. So
Well, thank
that's
you so
going to
much.
be that's our last thing tonight. Tomorrow we have at 9:30 a.m. Eastern an Ocarina of Time Randomizers tournament season 4 match. We got four No Major Glitches tournament matches tomorrow. We have confirmed that the one at 1 p.m. between Tanwer Farid versus Contos and the one at 8 p.m. Eastern between Negazeus and Chimo will be restreamed here. The 2 p.m. one Eastern between Coxla and NY Rambler, and the 7 p.m. Eastern one between McMonkey819 and Relkin. Still trying to see if we can get commentators for that. We also have a Zelda 2 Randomizer Max Rando tournament match between Jake Hoper and Jackamus at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. As well as a Twilight Princess any percent tournament race at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we got a lot going on tomorrow. Thank you all for watching, and well, first of all, before I actually sign off, let's thank our runners, Rywek and Glan, and thank you to our commentators, Anders and Foxless. See you all next time.
Bye-bye.